Namaste, welcome, and aloha. Welcome to Canto 8 of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, titled Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, Divine Intervention, Cosmic Dramas, and the Power of Surrender. This eighth canto is one of the most narratively rich and dramatically powerful sections in the entire Bhagavatam. It is a canto of epic stories and profound teachings spanning cosmic time from the earliest administrators of the universe to the great cosmic flood that ends an age. Let us explore this magnificent eighth canto, a canto that reveals the Lord's active personal intervention in the universe to protect his devotees and uphold cosmic order. Let us now look at the overview of Canto 8. Canto 8, titled Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, is one of the most narratively rich and dramatically powerful cantos in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. It spans cosmic time from the earliest Manus who administered the universe through the great churning of the milk ocean to the Vāmana incarnation's three cosmic steps, and finally to the Matsya incarnation that saves the Vedas at the end of the cosmic cycle. The canto opens with the framework of the 14 Manus, the cosmic administrators who govern successive ages of the universe, establishing the grand temporal scale on which the canto's dramas unfold. The first great narrative is the story of Gajendra, the king of elephants, who was seized by a crocodile in a sacred lake. After exhausting all material strength and resources in a 1,000 year struggle, Gajendra finally surrendered completely to the Supreme Lord, crying out with a lotus flower in his upraised trunk, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Lord immediately descended from Vaikuntha, riding Garuda, and with one stroke of his Sudarsana disc, killed the crocodile and liberated both the elephant and the crocodile, both of whom were revealed to be souls from previous lives. The second great narrative is the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the milk ocean, one of the most celebrated and symbolically rich stories in all of Vedic literature. The demigods and demons, using Mount Mandara as a churning rod and the serpent Vasuki as a rope, churned the cosmic ocean to produce the nectar of immortality, Amrit. From the churning emerged 14 precious gifts, including the divine physician Dhanvantari, the goddess of fortune Lakshmi, the divine horse Ukai Shrava, the elephant Airavata, and finally the pot of Amrit. The third great narrative is the Vāmana incarnation, the Lord appearing as a tiny Brahmana dwarf before the supremely generous demon king Bali Maharaj, begging three steps of land and then expanding to cover the entire universe in two steps. Bali Maharaj's complete surrender, offering his own head for the third step, is one of the Bhagavatam's supreme examples of devotional surrender. The canto concludes with the Matsya incarnation, the Lord as a fish who saves King Satyavrata and the Vedas from the cosmic flood at the end of the age. Now let us look at the key themes. Canto 8 is unified by a single overarching theme, the Lord's active personal intervention in cosmic affairs to protect his devotees and maintain the balance of the universe. This theme manifests in four distinct but interwoven narratives, each illuminating a different dimension of divine grace and sovereignty. The first and most intimate theme is the power of complete surrender. Gajendra's story is the Bhagavatam's most vivid illustration of the moment when a soul exhausts all material resources and turns completely to the Lord. After 1,000 years of fighting the crocodile with his own strength, Gajendra finally understood that no material power, not even the greatest physical strength, can overcome the entanglement of material existence. Only complete surrender to the Lord can bring liberation. His prayer, beginning with O Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, is not a prayer of petition, but a prayer of pure recognition. The Lord is the only shelter. The second theme is the cosmic struggle between the forces of light and darkness, the demigods and demons, and the Lord's role as the supreme arbiter who maintains cosmic balance. The Samudra Manthan narrative is the Bhagavatam's most elaborate treatment of this theme. The demigods and demons cooperate to churn the ocean, but when the nectar of immortality appears, the demons attempt to seize it for themselves. The Lord intervenes as Mohini Murti, the most beautiful woman in the universe, to bewilder the demons and distribute the nectar to the demigods. This narrative teaches that the fruits of spiritual practice belong to those who are surrendered to the Lord, not to those who seek them for personal aggrandizement. The third theme is the supremacy of devotional surrender over material power, wealth, and prestige, illustrated through Bali Maharaja's story. Bali was the most powerful emperor in the universe, having conquered even the heavenly planets. Yet when the Lord appeared before him as a tiny dwarf Brahmana, Bali's genuine devotion and commitment to charity led him to give everything, including his own body, to the Lord. His guru Sukracharya warned him that the dwarf was the Lord himself and that giving everything would mean losing his empire. Bali's response is one of the most celebrated statements of devotional surrender in the Bhagavatam. If the Lord Himself has come to beg from me, what greater fortune could I have? The fourth theme is the cyclical nature of cosmic time and the Lord's role in preserving spiritual knowledge across cosmic cycles. The Matsya incarnation, the Lord as a fish who saves the Vedas from the cosmic flood, establishes that divine wisdom is not a product of human civilization, but an eternal reality that the Lord Himself preserves across the cycles of creation and dissolution. Now let us look at modern scientific parallel. Canto 8 contains several narratives that resonate deeply with modern scientific understanding. The Gajendra story, in which a soul exhausts all material resources before turning to the divine, parallels the modern psychological concept of hitting rock bottom as a prerequisite for genuine transformation. Research in addiction recovery, trauma therapy, and spiritual psychology consistently shows that the deepest and most lasting transformations occur when an individual completely exhausts their ego driven strategies and opens to a power greater than themselves. Gajendra's thousand-year struggle, followed by complete surrender, is the Bhagavatam's ancient articulation of this universal psychological truth. The Samudra Manthan, the churning of the milk ocean, is one of the most scientifically evocative narratives in the Bhagavatam. The image of cosmic forces churning a primordial ocean to produce both poison and nectar resonates with modern cosmology's understanding of the early universe, when extreme conditions produced both destructive radiation and the fundamental particles that would eventually become stars, planets, and life. The appearance of Dhanvantari, the divine physician from the churning, carrying the pot of Amrit nectar of immortality, parallels the modern scientific quest to understand the biochemistry of aging and longevity. The Vāmana incarnation's three steps covering the entire universe in two strides resonates with modern physics understanding of the universe's rapid expansion. Just as the Lord's cosmic form expanded to cover all three worlds in two steps, the universe itself expanded from a point of infinite density to its current vast scale in a fraction of a second during the Big Bang, what physicists call cosmic inflation. The Big Bang, Matsya incarnation. The fish who saves knowledge from the cosmic flood parallels the modern scientific understanding of mass extinction events and the preservation of genetic information. Just as the Lord preserves the Vedas across cosmic cycles, DNA preserves biological information across billions of years of evolutionary time, surviving mass extinctions and cosmic catastrophes. The framework of the 14 Manus governing successive cosmic ages parallels modern geology's concept of geological epochs, distinct periods of Earth's history, each with its own characteristic life forms and conditions, succeeding one another in a grand temporal sequence. Now let us look at some practical application. Canto 8 offers profound practical guidance for modern life, beginning with the most universally applicable lesson from Gajendra's story, the transformative power of complete surrender. In a culture that prizes self reliance, independence, and personal strength, Gajendra's story offers a counterintuitive but deeply liberating truth that the moment we stop relying exclusively on our own resources and turn completely to the divine is the moment our liberation begins. This is not weakness, it is the highest wisdom. The practical application is simple but profound. When you have exhausted your own strategies and resources in any area of life, health, relationships, career, spiritual practice, that is precisely the moment to stop, lift your hands like Gajendra lifting his lotus flower, and cry out to the Lord with complete sincerity. The Samudra Manthan teaches that great achievements require cooperation, patience, and the willingness to endure difficulty, including poison, before the nectar appears. The demigods and demons churned for 1,000 years before the Amrit emerged. Modern life offers countless parallel situations: the difficult years of education before expertise, the painful process of healing before health, the long practice of meditation before inner peace. The teaching is, do not give up when the poison appears. The nectar is coming. Bali Maharaja's story offers perhaps the most radical, practical teaching in the entire Bhagavatam. True generosity means giving everything without reservation to the Lord. In practical terms, this means offering the fruits of all our activities, our work, our relationships, our achievements, our failures to the Lord without clinging to the results. The Bhagavad Gita calls this Karma Yoga. Canto 8 illustrates it through Bali's supreme example. The Matsya incarnation teaches the supreme importance of preserving and transmitting spiritual knowledge. In an age when ancient wisdom traditions are being lost to the pressures of materialism and technological distraction, the Matsya story is a call to become custodians of sacred knowledge, to study, practice, and transmit the teachings of the Bhagavatam to the next generation. Now let us look at how this helps for young people. Canto 8 speaks to young people through its most dramatic and visually compelling narratives. The Gajendra story, a mighty elephant seized by a crocodile, fighting for 1,000 years before finally surrendering to the Lord, is a story about the limits of personal strength and the infinite power of divine grace. For young people who are taught from childhood that self reliance and personal achievement are the highest values, Gajendra's story offers a liberating counter narrative. There are situations in life that no amount of personal strength, intelligence, or effort can resolve. In those moments, and they will come for everyone, the wisest response is not to try harder, but to surrender more completely. The Samudra Manthan is one of the most exciting narratives in all of world literature. Gods and demons cooperating to churn a cosmic ocean, producing both terrible poison and divine nectar, with the Lord intervening at every critical moment. For young people who love epic stories, this narrative has everything: cosmic scale, dramatic tension, divine intervention, and profound spiritual meaning. The appearance of Mohini Murti, the Lord, as the most beautiful woman in the universe, to bewilder the demons and save the nectar for the demigods, teaches a lesson that is especially relevant for young people in an age of social media and digital distraction. Beauty and attraction, when used without spiritual grounding, can be instruments of illusion. True beauty is the Lord's beauty, and true attraction is attraction to the divine. Bali Maharaja's story speaks directly to young people's sense of honor and integrity. Bali knew that the dwarf Brahmana might be the Lord himself, and he knew that giving everything would cost him his empire. But he had given his word and he would not break it. In a world where promises are easily made and easily broken, Bali's absolute integrity, maintained even at the cost of everything he had built, is a model of character that transcends time and culture. Now, let us look at how this helps for the older generation. For the older generation, Canto 8 offers a perspective on life's journey that is simultaneously cosmic and deeply personal. The framework of the 14 Manus, each governing a vast cosmic age, places our individual lives within a temporal context so vast that all our personal struggles and achievements appear in their true proportion. Small moments in an infinite divine drama, each one purposeful, each one witnessed by the Lord. Gajendra's story resonates with particular depth for those who have lived long enough to experience the limits of personal strength and material resources. The older generation has seen, through decades of life experience, that there are situations that no amount of wealth, intelligence, social connection, or personal effort can resolve. Gajendra's thousand-year struggle, followed by complete surrender, is not a story of defeat. It is a story of the highest wisdom, knowing when to stop relying on yourself and start relying on the Lord. The Bali Maharaja narrative offers the older generation a model of graceful surrender that is especially relevant in the later stages of life. Bali had built an empire that spanned the universe. He was at the absolute pinnacle of material achievement. And yet, when the Lord appeared before him in the form of a tiny, seemingly powerless dwarf, Bali recognized the Lord's presence and offered everything without hesitation. For those who have spent decades building careers, families, and communities, Bali's story is an invitation. As you enter the later stages of life, consider offering everything you have built, your achievements, your relationships, your accumulated wisdom to the Lord in a spirit of complete surrender and gratitude. The Matsya incarnation's preservation of the Vedas across the cosmic flood speaks to the older generation's role as custodians and transmitters of wisdom. The most valuable gift the older generation can offer the young is not material wealth, but spiritual knowledge. The timeless wisdom of the Bhagavatam, passed down through the generations, like the Vedas preserved in the fish's horn. Now let us look at the high level Canto 8 structure. Let us briefly review the structure of Canto 8. The canto consists of 24 chapters with a total of 931 verses. Chapters 1 4, the Manus and Gajendra 125 verse. This section sets the cosmic timeline with the Manus and narrates the complete story of Gajendra's crisis, prayers, and liberation. Chapters 5:12, the churning of the milk ocean, 362 verse. This is the longest section detailing the truce between the demigods and demons. Lord Shiva drinking the poison, the churning itself, the appearance of Lakshmi and Dhanvantari, the Mohini Murti incarnation, and the subsequent battle. Chapters 13-14, Universal Management, 47 verses. A brief section describing the future Manus and the system of universal administration. Chapters 15-23, Bali Maharaja and Lord Vāmana Deva, 336 verses. This section covers Bali Maharaja's conquest of the heavens, the demigod's appeal, the Lord's appearance as Vamanadeva, his begging of 3 steps of land, and Bali's ultimate surrender. Chapter 24, the Matsya incarnation, 61 verses. The concluding chapter narrates the story of the Lord's fish incarnation, who saves King Satyavrata and the Vedas from the cosmic flood. Each of these narratives is a universe of wisdom in itself. Canto 8 of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, reveals the Lord's intimate and active role in the grand drama of the cosmos. It is a message of hope, a lesson in surrender, and a testament to the Lord's unwavering protection of his devotees. Thank you, Namaste, and Mahalo for joining me in this exploration of Canto 8.